Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is a request from I want to say reader, don't you? But it's watcher, I suppose. And it is, how would they react if you confessed your feelings? You've got 3 piles as usual. Pile number 1, which is the Pantone 656. Number 2 is Parrot Black. And number 3 is Aspen Gold. If you want to take your choice, and then we'll get going. Okay, pile number 2. You're not your pile number 1. Jumping ahead of my game. This gives me a really strong feeling of a connection that you both know about. This could possibly be friends that run alongside each other and you just haven't said anything yet, or you have said things but not actually got to the confession stage. The understanding stage but not confessing it. I'm wondering whether your person is quite intellectual and there, what I would say, complications to this relationship. Possibly this is the situation surrounding, this is where it leads to, and this is your confession, or how they react to your confession. It makes me think of, with the karmic release card here and the Chiron, it's like a bit of a south node feeling of a relationship that feels as if it's meant to be, but with a Chiron there is often in relationships where they run alongside each other and you can't get together, or you get together and you have to share yourselves with other people. As in second marriage and it being difficult to get out of the first marriage, that type of feeling. And your person's coming across, because these are at the bottom of the pack, as somebody who could be somebody who has to think through things. And you've got quite a few 2 cards here. You've got 3 2s, so there's got to be a decision to be made. And it makes me think that this decision is not going to be an easy one. This is why I'm thinking complicated. It's a type of confession that you make and it causes, or it needs a lot of introspection, and it needs a lot of sorting through, because to me it just feels complicated. Right, let me start going through the cards bit by bit. Hold on, take my coat off. Right, let's go through the situation with regards to the confession. Behind you've got the Queen of Pentacles, and here you've got the 2 of Wands. So I'm thinking you're quite a steady character, somebody, and you've got the Queen of Wands here. So whether you're male or female, you're somebody who's, it's not a wallflower is what I'm thinking. Somebody who's very steady in who they are and what they're doing and their position in this relationship. It makes me think that you have a lot of pride and you wouldn't push yourself into a situation that you didn't feel like you've actually fit in, or you didn't feel like you were wanted. But this situation is confusing you, I'm thinking, with this Chiron feeling, as in it's a very, very strong connection with the karmic release up here. And I'm wondering at this moment, I don't know this and I haven't seen it in the cards, I'm wondering whether there is a south node feeling of, because the Chiron and the karmic release make me think of a south node feeling of a relationship that is extremely intense pull, but whether you are meant to be together in this lifetime. I'm just being totally honest here. Can't see this in the cards as yet. It's just these 2 cards together and making me think that. A case of you may have had, if you believe in this, lifetimes together, and that's why the pull feels so strong, because it's familiarity there and there's just probably an ease of contact there. And your person feels the same, I think, with regards to these 2 cards up here, the 7 of Swords and the King of Swords. But the 7 of Swords makes me think that they wonder whether they will have to, with this Chiron as well, excuse me, hurt somebody to get closer to you. I don't know yet. I haven't actually drawn my way through all the cards. This again, the 2 of Cups and the Queen of Wands, speaks to me of you. Whether you're male or female, the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, is a card of somebody who knows how to have fun, but somebody who's always there when things need to be done. That, I'm a poet, I didn't even know it. It's that type of feeling of somebody who is there solid, self-confident, and has extremely strong and healthy boundaries. The Two of Cups is understanding this connection, and I'm thinking with these cards here, do you know, it makes me feel quite sad reading this. Only from a feeling that there seems to be a very strong connection. And with the Chiron there, I don't know, Chiron always hurts, but it actually teaches us. And there's this feeling of you two knowing that you feel good together, but something being in the way. And what's gone on in the past, I think, is a lot of watching, a lot of waiting. Things have started moving. So there is some recognition here of that connection that I keep talking about here. As it being a shared connection, you both know it, you both can see it's there, but I wonder if you're still tiptoeing around each other. Right, so let's start thinking about your confession. If you confess to this person, and this is what makes me think that this person could be in a relationship already, because of this Chiron card, you've got the Ten of Pentacles here, which often speaks of a family situation or an established situation that, with regards to a confession, because it's there consciously, could play a part in this whole spread. So either a job could be at stake, or a family position could be turned upside down. And the World card here, as if, because it's the end of the tarot pack, it begins with a journey with a Fool and ends in the World, as if it could be, if you confessed, is going to be a huge, huge confession. It will be upturning to this person's word. That's not very good English. It could upturn this person's world. The Nine of Pentacles down here makes me wonder whether your person's in a relationship, you maybe not, or you just maybe with these two Queen cards be a very independent person. Somebody who has, as I just said earlier, a really strong feeling of very good boundaries, a very healthy relationship with yourself. Somebody who doesn't mind spending time on their own, somebody who's quite at ease in their own company, and therefore doesn't feel, there's not a Pluto feeling here, of Pluto's a bit vampiric in some way, where you do feel as if you don't get that person, it's going to make you scream. This one has a feeling of, God, I feel it, I really feel it. I want to get closer, but it's difficult. If you did confess to this person, there are, what I'm thinking, big decisions to be made with wrapping something else up. You have got, as I said earlier, the two Wands cards here of decisions, not knowing whether to go forwards, not knowing whether to go backwards, just looking back and wondering what started, where it's going to lead. And then the end card with regards to how they would react is the Ten of Wands. So this is a big confession with what I would say a lot of things at stake. And the Ten of Wands here makes me think of heaviness. This person would feel as if, this sounds quite negative and I don't mean it, I'm just trying to be really honest, they had the world on their shoulders if you confessed, because they would have to make decisions. And this card, this pack over here, with regards to that's basically trying to give me a little backdrop into this situation. This pile over here is how they would react. You have got the Two of Cups twice, and I always say the Two of Cups to me is one of the nicest cards in the pack. I prefer it to the Lovers, because the Lovers doesn't speak to me of anything. I don't know why. I just see it and I think Lovers. I just think Lovers. But the Two of Cups, I think of a relationship that is strong and normal, which sounds strange, but strong and normal as in you could converse with each other and it just feels easy. You look into each other's eyes and you both know there's like a sense of admiration there. There's a sense of, I'm not going to push you too far because I have an affection for you that goes beyond myself. It's, it's equal, but you wouldn't want to hurt this person. Beyond yourself is not equal, but it does feel like as if you wouldn't want to put this person at stake. And sometimes in love relationships, we get a little bit carried away with ourselves, and you get quite passionate and you get quite embroiled in situations, and you want more than sometimes you just have to stop and say, yeah, this is still a person. And these two cards make me think that this is a person. To you, it's somebody who there's a sense of affection, nurturing and self-control and admiration. It's just two, I can't explain it really well. It's just two beautiful, beautiful cards of you both seeing eye to eye and it being a very strong and loving connection. Right, I'm trawling my way through these ones. Let me just see. Is it all? No, that's not there, is it? I'm just going to pick my way through bit by bit, and then I will sum it up, and hopefully it will make sense. The Five of Cups here is very much in keeping with the Two of Cups. It's a sense of nostalgia and sweetness. There's a lot of thinking on this. This person, if you confess to them, would spend a long time thinking, deciding. There's no anger, there's no shock. This is what I would say a mature attitude of wondering what to do next. And the Magician card here, as if he feels like, or she feels like, they could do anything they wanted to do because they have everything at their disposal to do it. They know that they're capable of having a relationship with you if this is what you're going to confess. I don't know what you're going to confess, but this is what I'm assuming you're going to confess. This person, I think, would retreat. There's too many cards. As I'm going through it, they would retreat, but not for negative reasons. There's too many intellectual thinking cards here. There's too many decision cards here. You've got the Magician. He or she knows what they need to do, but then you've got the Ten of Wands, which feels like heaviness, and the Temperance, once again, is looking for a sense of balance. And you've got too many twos for that not to be balance. So this person, if you confess to them, would immediately think, where do I go from here? And then they would probably disappear for a bit and not contact you. And it would be to go inwards. I'm almost expecting the Hermit card to come up, because this feels like a complicated relationship. I don't know with Chiron. The Chiron could be so many different things. The Chiron could be a sense of low self-worth. The Chiron can often be what I think people pleasers who want everything to be fine, a bit like a Libra card in some way, want everything to be fine, want everything to keep flowing. They feel like they don't want other people to hurt like they hurt. So they can sometimes put themselves in situations where they're doing more than they need to. It does feel like a South Node. South Node connection to me, this one feels like. It doesn't have to be, but this is how I interpret things, as I tend to think of them in astrology terms, because I always think in astrology terms. I just always have. Okay. Right, I'm just going to start putting all together, and I'm probably will speak a little bit faster, because if I think too much, it gets really stilted. Not just slightly stilted, really stilted. Your person comes across to me as being quite reserved, somebody who likes to think things out, not so much thoroughly, but from an intellectual and detached viewpoint. And I think this person feels that they have a connection with you that feels easy, and as if it's a very strong connection and a very familiar connection. I think there's some sort of awareness here of understanding that for you two to go forward, something maybe have to be given up somewhere else. And I don't know whether it's work or family or other situations. It doesn't have to be any of that. It doesn't have to be third party. It could just be taking a job somewhere else. It's just something where you have to learn your lessons through it being slightly painful. And this is what will be milling through their mind with regards to your confession. You're coming across as somebody who is quite, I wanted to say grandiose, and I don't know why I think that. I think it's got to do with the Queens and this sense of boundaries and this sense of strength in yourself and understanding of your own inner workings and respect for everybody else's boundaries too. A really mature sort of giving, but I don't know, just giving. It just is giving, but with maturity. There's been a lot, I think, here of waiting and watching and understanding that this relationship is moving forward, and the attraction is there. But I think there is got to be some sort of give here with regards to your confession and what they decide and how they decide it, that has to do with the commitment elsewhere. Financial, job, other relationship, just something has to be decided which would weigh really heavy on your person's shoulders if you confessed. It would mean ending something and moving on to something else. You're coming across as, I just wanted to say dignacious again. I said that, and that is not a word, and I said it in an old reading, and I have no idea, and it just flicked into my mind. You have an air of dignity about you and self-respect, which I've just said. But when you confess, or if you confess to this person, there are decisions to be made. You've got too many twos for there not to be. And the 10 of Wands is they're going to feel like heavy decisions to your person. And they're not going to react emotionally. They're not going to kiss you or hug you, or they're not going to run off crying and say, don't come near me, this isn't going to work. It's going to be somebody who retracts. It's going to be somebody who thinks about the connection, who thinks about the past, how things have led up to this, who is going to understand with the two twos of cups here that there's a very strong connection between the pair of you that is flourishing, and that they have it in their hands now to do whatever they want. And that's the reason that they're going to pull back and overthink and try to find balance. This isn't somebody's going to come back to you with a quick answer. And to me, it feels from this spread that you're coming across as somebody who deserves a bit of thought, because you have this air about you of nobody's going to mess with you, because you just present yourself in life with a real sense of awareness and dignaciousness. Okay, right, pile number 1. I'm going to finish there because this has got a really, really strong feeling of a connection that feels as if it's been before. And it's not an easy decision to make, and your person won't take it lightly. They will pull back, they will pull into themselves, and they will do everything possible to try and come to, what I'm guessing with the Chiron here, a fair decision that it looks like it will cause them pain to actually get there, because there is something they've got to give up. I don't know what it is. All they want is balance. Yeah, they want balance. The Temperance card here. You're going to get an intellectual response, I think, here. Okay, pile number 1. I'm going to finish that there. I hope that makes sense to you. Just before I go, what I would like to say is this person has a real admiration towards you, I would say, with these cards here. An understanding of who you are and where you are in this situation, and a respect for just the way that you come across. I can't put that in a very articulate way, but there's a sense of somebody who has just a really mature feeling of somebody who is in charge of themselves, and somebody who has self-respect and respect for others. I'm gonna finish there because I am. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you again. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. Let's go. Okay, this is a really strange pile number 2, but very interesting, because I've got a feeling that somebody here is very staid and somebody here is quite rebellious. Really strong feeling here. And you've got Lilith up here, and you've got the Hierophant, that's tradition, and Lilith with the moon sign next to it, to be honest, with the moon cycles. Because Lilith is connected to the moon. It's got a very strong feeling of your person possibly, I hope I've got this the right way around, please swap this one. I've never said this before, but it could go either way. I did put these up here for your person, and this is the background really, and this is how they would take your confession. What would they do? I'm getting a incredibly strong feeling that your person, or one of you, is very traditional. Them. But you are playing out the dark side of them that they don't actually release. And people often ask me what HULUPPU actually means. And the HULUPPU is a tree that Lilith is supposed to sit at the bottom of this tree. And the HULUPPU is like the world tree. It's basically how we look at cycles, and it all fits together. And Lilith is the dark parts of ourselves, a bit like the shadow self, that we don't play out. And a lot of the times in relationships, And a lot of the times it's possibly if it's a male and they project the female part of themselves in a rather misconstrued way onto somebody else. Don't think the sex would really matter there, but that's just what I've read in textbooks. I'm just saying it from what I've read. I haven't thought about it properly with regards to same-sex relationships. I don't expect it to matter because we've all got male and female parts inside our personalities and our charts. Interesting pile. I'm just sifting my eyes through it at the moment. Okay, I'm going to pick through it so I'm actually talking rather than sitting here in silence, and then I will start summing it up. This relationship to me speaks of possibly small beginnings, of almost getting it started, maybe not getting it started, somebody walking off, things not a bit misconstrued in some way, somebody perhaps thinking that the other one's played unfairly. There's a feeling that somebody may have possibly turned their back. And I don't think it's a case of moving away overseas or not together, but possibly just you're not sure how that other person feels and they feel as if they have their back to you. And there's a lot of what I would guess self-defense here in trying to see who's going to act or do something next from you. I think it's from you mainly. This person has what I would say a warm personality and been very open with you and been very warm towards you, but you're almost wondering whether that is just them or whether... To me, this feels like you're battling with yourself too. To me, it feels like two people that are battling with parts themselves. It's like somebody projecting something onto you, that playing on your anxieties, and them actually coming towards you then and being very warm or open or very welcoming, and you almost like, oh, hold on, I'm not really sure where I stand now. There's confusion here, and people not consciously like Pluto game playing, but subconsciously trying not to get bruised. Feeling sensitive. And the Eight of Pentacles here, I don't know whether you work together, because there's a traditional situation with the Hierophant here where there's a possible work situation, or whether you are working towards getting closer to each other. Your person may have options because they're coming across as the Seven of Cups here, not knowing which way to go, what to decide. And often the case in Lilith, I'm not saying this with every pile, it's just have to throw in other scenarios because there's lots of different people watching. Well, I hope there's more than two. Hi, Mum. Is the Lilith card here. There could be, this is a scenario, they could be with somebody already who is, and they're in a very traditional relationship. One of those relationships that look like they function and they have the car, the kids, or, you know, if it's not that stage in life, who has, they just look good together, they're on Facebook together, that type of thing, when in reality, this person is playing out what I would guess what they feel they ought to be playing out and projecting onto you that person that they want to be but don't like to admit it. Because there's a rebellious edge and there's a traditional edge here and there's Lilith here and it ends in the Hierophant. So I'm getting this feeling that through feeding my way through this, that this person, and you've got the Devil down here, which is a cracker to be honest with Lilith here, and all this like High Priestess and Magician together. Oh my God, this is really interesting pile. If you've got the Magician here and you've got the High Priestess here and you've got all these cards of projection and things going on underneath the surface, and maybe your person trying to keep a face of everything being just fine how they are, and then you've got you two possibly having more up your sleeves than either of you actually confess to. Your person, it feels like a psychic link when you have to bring something out of this person that they don't know they have, and I think you're aware of yours. Obviously, if you're here, you've got to have what I would say, people who come to tarot readings, and sometimes you get comments, and I don't tell anybody what I do because people go, what a load of tosh. But it draws people towards them who are creative and open, I think, and they look for, there's a saying like, it's something, I don't know the exact saying because I can't remember anything. It's like give somebody a truth, and some people you just have to give them a little snippet, and other people you need to hit them over the head with a hammer. And it's that personality that's open and creative and aware that can understand something in the world that's far more complicated than their everyday reality. which I can't explain it really well. But there's so much more going on below the surface, and everybody's just so busy going to Tesco's, having sex, going to work, that type of thing. And when you do actually stop and think, it's just, which to be honest, we don't have time to. It's the most amazing thing I think you can experience before we all kick the bucket. And to me, this feels like, with the Magician card and the High Priestess here, of you knowing this and them knowing it but not admitting to it. And there's something to do with your connection and the confession that holds a lot of bubbling below the surface repression. And you, the Magician and the High Priestess, makes me think, and this is, I don't know this of course, because this makes me think of two people that may have worked together in past lives in some sort of spiritual sense. They would have been more traditional type of, like somebody who works in a church with an established hierarchy. You would have been the witch. You would have been the one that wasn't accepted and that had your thumb tied to your nose. It's that type of feeling, you both coming from the same direction, but depending what time in history you were born, which one was more accepted. And there's got a lot going on. This is giving me tingles. This has got a lot going on below the surface of things I don't know if either of you are aware of. You very much could be with this. They wouldn't admit to it. This has got a fantastically exciting feeling. And the Devil card here and that Lilith card here is that recognition and that pull that you're accepting because you're the High Priestess and you understand it because you have a self-awareness and definitely insight into what's going on behind the curtain. You've got the High Priestess twice and you've got the Empress. This is a pile of somebody who, which I'm assuming 99.9% is you. It's beginning to sift round to who I think is who, of a spiritual connection in past lives where you've both probably worked together. And there's a pull here in this life and it feels uncomfortable to them because they've always taken the traditional route. And this is moving away from what I would normally go down the pack of the Hierophant of thinking marriage. This is going down a spiritual of feeling of wanting to fit into life in what's accepted in a religious sense or a spiritual sense at that time in history or this time in history. And this is really getting your person wondering which way to go and what to decide. They're beginning with the Seven of Pentacles up here and the Two of Wands, and this was at the bottom of the pack. They're beginning to understand or beginning to feel that something is brewing. There's a lot of watching, there's trying to understand, there's wanting to move forward but not quite doing it. And the Seven of Pentacles is that bubbling up. To me, this makes me feel that you do something quite magical. And I'm going to say this, and I don't really know in what terms it could be. It makes me think of somebody. I'm going to make things up here because I don't know. Reiki. You write your dream journal. You have outer body experiences. You can understand patterns and vibrations. Astrology. Just very feminine internal work going on. And I don't mean feminine as in feminine, I mean feminine as in inward. Okay. So their reaction, if you confessed your feelings. Wow. I think honestly, to be honest here, with the Lilith and the Devil card here and the Eight of Pentacles, this person would have, I would say, a really bizarre awakening. And they would try to deal with that using their own personality traits in the best way possible, of trying to understand it and where it fits into their life. And the last pack I had all these sort of like intellectual cards up here, so I automatically said that they're going to try and intellectualize the whole problem, subject, whatever. This person can't even do that. This person is going to be honest, this doesn't answer your question, because I feel like I'm not doing my job properly by saying this, because I know you want to see their reaction, which I can get there, but I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking so far. It feels as if you are going to have a complete shock impact on this person's life in general, not just in regards to both of yours attraction or relationship, which I'm assuming that's why you're here looking at that. This is like if you confess to them, it would take them out of their comfort zone of where they thought their life was going. And I don't get a feeling here, because it's not like action cards, because you've got in your pile of, I have to show you, in your pile here of the reaction pile, this is basically leading up. You've got the Magician, the High Priestess, as we talked about before. These are all major arcana. You've got so many, it's almost like no action, but a complete blow up. You have got, who are obviously the magical pairing there. You've also got the Magician, and you've got the Lilith card here, and the Devil card is, and the Lilith card is that sexual person, or that person who they give them a sexual reaction, who they can't quite get hold of, or they feel it's wrong to be attracted to that person. I can't explain that without it being insulting. It's like the person that they feel they want, but they can't have. You know, it could be anything. It could be different cultures. It could be that they always go for a very prim type man or a very prim type woman, and you're completely different, and it excites them, but they're not going to admit to it. And you've got the High Priestess twice, which is making me think that you are some magical, mysterious beast. And you've got the Empress card here, which with these High Priestess just make me think, whether you're male or female, that you have this internal workings that's very much in charge of yourself and where you want to be. And this is a pile that definitely connect when they're not together, because you've got the Four of Swords here as well. What's he doing? What is that mouse doing? Of dreams, lying low, sleeping, meditating. This is very, very much an unspoken connection. You don't have to talk. You can both feel it. And it feels to them out of their comfort zone with regards to their sexuality and their normal type, and what within confessing how they would react, which is, I know what I'm meant to be doing, but this part is so interesting, would be shock, I think, internal shock. Because I wonder whether you feel as if you're just off limits to them. Whether you're not the easy road by any chance. But there's a pull there that they don't feel, they haven't felt for other people, but it's almost as if it's like a scary pull. So yeah, okay, let me just start summing up their reaction, because I've got a bit excited by that pile and not actually told you anything. How would they react if you confessed your feelings? They would react in a really traditional way, which I think would shock you. As in, like, they'd say, "Oh, thank you very much for telling me. You know, I find you a very attractive, fun person to be with, but what would actually be happening under the surface, you wouldn't even yourself have an inkling of, because there's just so much going. No, actually, you've got High Priestess twice. You would definitely know, but there's a lot to know. There's a lot to understand with this person's reaction. And this person could have Pluto very much connecting onto like Venus, or Pluto onto the moon here in some way, with, you know, you've got that pirate black where everything could be hidden and below the surface. And you've got the No card here, which I know it's connected to Lilith, but with regards to the way that they're going to react, there could be a sense of timing in this. There could be a sense of this person almost being, okay, thank you very much for letting me know that, and then retreating possibly, and then that's when their world starts changing. That's when they start seeing alternatives to the path that they may have chosen and thought that was like just the path they were going to go down, the traditional path they were going to go down. And I wonder whether you're job in this life is to sort of give people alternatives of viewpoints of how they can live their life. And I wonder whether that's your part with this person. To me, this is what I would be thinking. If I was looking at this person's chart, I was thinking heavy Pluto having a Uranus transit. You, to me, feel like Pisces, Uranus-y, or something that is quite alternative, something that thinks quite differently, but has a very sort of feminine internal workings in your understanding in the world and how it functions. You feel this connection really strong. They do, but they're dealing with it in, I just go to work, let's see, there's that attractive person. Let me wave, that type of thing. Don't they look good? I do feel a pull towards them, and you're like, I know what's going on. And there's this type of, you both possibly have dreams that feel like you're awake of each other. Right, pile number 2. I'm going to finish there, but wow, I love that pile. Okay, I'm going to finish there. I hope that makes sense to you. Please let me know in the comments section if any of it does, because that's a really interesting pile to me. Thank you for spending some time with me. Bye. Hi, pile 3. Let's see about their reaction to your confession. Okay, right, pile number 3. I've got 2 different main thoughts on this one at the moment, just to sort of say what I'm thinking at the beginning, and then I'll go through and see whether I actually mean what I'm saying. But this to me feels like it possibly could be a connection where there's a sense of nurturing each other and a sense of understanding that you both feel attracted to each other, and it just feels good. And it's like an emotional connection as well that feels really sweet. But there's a sense of 2 different ways. This could possibly be something that they would want to work towards, even though it's hard to get to you. It could be a case of living apart from each other, or one of you having to go to study, that type of feeling, and not being able to get close to each other, although the connection is there. Or with the Juno card up here, which makes me think of established partnerships more so, and the 9 of Swords with a little turtle down here being stuck on the beach with a foreboding wave behind him or her. Him or her. I'm making sure I don't insult male or female turtles there. There could be a feeling of, hold on, I'm in a relationship. And I don't want to say this every time, but I've just got to bring up the different scenarios of this could be a lot bigger than we expected because I'm committed. Possibly just because of the Juno card there, next to what I would feel like a really sort of looming card of life coming crashing down. And then you've got the 10 of Wands here at the end, which is heaviness and trying to deal with things. And you've got the 7 of Pentacles here with regards to still wanting to keep it alive. Right, this pile here is the situation and how I feel that they're going, what point they're coming from with regards to how they're going to react. And this is their reaction to your confession. I'm going to go through it probably bit by bit, maybe not. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to start. Right, to me, as I said earlier, you've got the Tower moment here, and you've got the King of Cups, the High of Cups, the Tower card and the King of Cups. With these 2 cards here make me think of an established man or woman. If they're not married, they're somebody who's quite conventional, quite open to revealing their feelings and do it in a very measured way of loving people, being able to get very close to people and to make other people feel loved. And when I mean measured, it means that they're not over the top, they're very fair, and there's no game playing. And with the Tower card here makes me think that something has happened or is about to happen, excuse me, with regards to the way that you would confess your feelings that would shake a few things up. And this is where the established relationship comes from with Juno here. Behind you, you've got the Page of Cups, the Page of Cups and the 7 of Cups, which to me is a lot of fantasizing, a lot of wishful thinking, a lot of wishing that you were theirs and they were yours. Possibly makes me hint that there hasn't been that much contact, because those two make me think of a young love. You know, when you start falling in love, or when it feels really fresh and you don't think anything bad about them whatsoever. And the Seven of Cups has that sort of idealistic fantasy feeling about it. Somebody who, oh, bless me, somebody who you possibly, or they possibly do a lot of dreaming about. So this makes me think like untouchable, or it hasn't been, nothing serious has been touched upon yet, if you know what I mean. Now you have got, with regards to how they'd react to your confession, you have got a feeling from them of being on top of the world with regards to their ego. And in a nice way, it's because it mixes, the fire cards mix very well with the pentacle cards in this spread, because their reaction is the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands, as you can see, is winning the race. It's like somebody they found attractive, and when you confess to them, it would just make them feel absolutely fantastic. It's a case of, I thought it, I knew it, there you go. I feel seen, I feel loved, I feel attractive by somebody that they want to be seen by. You're coming across as the Three of Pentacles here, which I don't know whether you work as part of a team or whether you see this person in groups a lot. And their reaction is very steady. I don't know whether they are a steady person. Yeah, I think their reaction would be very bitty. I hope if you're British and you watch League of Gentlemen, that's not a really good word to use. But the Eight of Pentacles is part of their reaction, and the Seven of Pentacles, and the Eight is also to, sorry, that's a bit stilted. The Eight of Pentacles is working towards something. A lot of the time it is a work situation, but with this card it's slightly different. It's like, to me, with the airplanes and the, oh, can I say umbrella? And the rainbow makes me think of news coming towards you. Yeah, okay. They would react to you, I'm thinking here, with, to me, the words are, let's work. Let's work on it together. And you've got the Ten of Pentacles at the end. Yeah. They're going to do something really steady and say, I feel it. Let's keep going as we are and see what flourishes. Without doubt, too many Pentacle cards in their confession part, your confession and how they react. You've got the Page of Pentacles here. You've got the Hermit card here of somebody who's reflecting and trying to think about it. And you've got the Ten of Wands. So that makes me think that this person is going to take what I would say the very boring, steady route to your confession. Reaction to your confession, because there's something looming. I don't know what it is. You've got the Nine of Swords here, and I can't ignore the Five of Wands here, which is conflict or antagonism in some way, and it feeling as if there's something pressing on this person. And the Ten of Wands here is also making me think that something is in the pipeline that could make it difficult for this person and you to get together. Group situation, I don't know, but this person is going to be top of the world. If you confess to them, they would be puffing their chest out for the whole day. Right, so this pile here is how they're going to react to it. You've got the Judgment card and the Hermit. So the Judgment card speaks to me of a game changer, a bit like not as strong as pile number 2. If you have what you would consider an extremely, extremely strong psychic connection with this person, you need to watch pile number 2. With Judgment here, makes me think that it's going to be a game changer. And with the Hermit here, it's going to put this person into a mode of, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? You know, even if you're extremely young, and that sounds a bit dramatic, it's like, where do I want to go next? In a big sense, rather than I might fancy spending a bit of time with this person. But this person is going to take a very sort of steady, very general approach to how they're going to get close to you. There's some pain in here. It's not overwhelming. It's because you've got the Five of Swords at the end. Doesn't seem like pain behind. A lot of these piles I get, and there's always like the Seven of Swords behind or something. This one has got sweet fantasizing. It feels like a young connection. And if you're not young in years, it feels like young at heart. It feels like a really sweet, open connection that this person wants to work on because you make them feel good. You may be a group of younger people who go around, a group of younger people who go around all together. The Juno card may not mean that they are an established relationship. The Juno card could possibly mean that they see you as being a long-term partner, but there's this feeling here of having to work towards that, and then they don't mind taking the slow route. They don't mind being the tortoise in the hare. There's definitely a plodding feel here, and their reaction would be, okay, let's do it, but let's play it slowly. There's this very strong feeling here of this person thinking and wondering, and it makes a big impact on them and who they want to be and where they want to go. I'm just looking at this to try and find out why there's 3. Let me put some more cards on. Okay, just a thought here, which I'm just going back to this Juno card here. I know we've given a sort of a young example here of what I would say a young love and an easy love that's easy to move forward with, but just taking your time, because this type of person may want a long-term relationship. But there's also as well the Juno card here and the 3 of Swords down here with the 4 of Wands of their being, with the established feeling here and very sort of steady feel. Next to the heartache and the Juno card, this person could be in a relationship. It's not screaming at me, but it's whispering to me, this one, of there being, possibly another person in the relationship. The Judgment card here as well could think that. The Hermit card could be retreating and trying to wonder where you fit in the bigger scheme of things. If they are in a relationship and they would want to have, I would say, not an affair, but a longer term relationship with you, this could explain the plodding and the heaviness of wanting not to lose you, wanting to keep you there and keep working towards you. But it, to me, because you're coming up as Queen of Cups down here, male or female, it's somebody who just feels, and the Prince of Cups down here, there's an emotional connection. Say, male or female, you're looking good. Look at that, what best boots. Right, so pile number 3. Let me sum you up here. How would they react if you confessed your feelings? It's what they're wishing for. It's what they're hoping for. This person does a lot of fantasizing about you. They would feel on top of the world if you confessed your feelings. And then it would turn to, how am I going to deal with this practically? How can I get this to work in my life? Let's start making small steps, because there's something there that's making it a little bit harder than normal. This could be another relationship. This could be just sort of a young situation with something else in the way, like going to college or that type of thing. I mean, possibly with this page, every time I get this Page of Pentacles, it actually looks like he's stealing things out of an art gallery. But to be honest, he looks like he's studying. I keep thinking he's got like a table in front of him, he's working, and that makes me think of studying. He's not, is he? Because it's the Page of Pentacles, that must be why. So your person could have to go off and work somewhere else or study somewhere else, and it's just like, keep it alive, because I want this person in my life long term. Yeah, it very much could be that, because you have got the 3, this establishment here, and this like feeling I'm getting from the 4 of Wands, that's the 3 of Cans, could be heartache with leaving home. So that could very much be part of it. There's 2 scenarios here. One is a relationship, and the other one is a movement away from home or from a steady situation which may pull you apart, and still trying to keep it alive by small steps, and that being quite hard. And there's the Page of Pentacles here could very much mean work situation, and the Judgment and the Hermit is, I think, retreating into themselves, as in they see you as a long-term relationship, and how can I nurture that so that you don't slip out of the way. Yeah. So how would they react? I always start reading and forget what the actual question is. How would they react if you confessed your feelings to them? They would say, I don't want to lose you. You make me feel good. Let's just keep it going as best as we possibly can. Even though there's lots of changes or there's lots of things that need to change around both of us. I don't want to lose you is probably the main thing here. And there's a feeling here of them wanting a long-term relationship with this one, with you. Unless they're married, then that could be part of the situation as well. But still, there's somebody who wants to water you. Don't take that the wrong way. Somebody who wants to nurture you and make the relationship grow, even if it is going to be hard work with regards to your life circumstances. Okay, pile number 2. No, you're not. Pile number 3. Pile number 3, thank you very much. I hope that makes sense to you and feels right in some way. And I hope to see you again. Bye.